Welcome back to another warm-up show with the hockey coach, Gros Coach Franchise directly for the beautiful country of Thailand on the great Tuesday night, March 14, 2023. Hey, we have to go all the way to Toronto to find the co-host of this great show, Mr. ENORTAP, back in the house.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. Big night tonight. Lots of games. Let's get through it, eh?
Wow, 12 games on the program after 3 games last night. So it's a big chance for the NHL. We're going to definitely come watching everything. But tonight, Montreal play a back-to-back game. A lot of conversation about the Montreal Canadiens the last 12 hours. Couple injuries in the NHL going to affect maybe the standing at the long, at least for the playoff for both teams. It'll be interesting how they're going to act before the end of the season. And then we're going to talk about possible 2 players doing very well right there, send the trade deadline. 2 teams are doing very great, send the trade deadline too. So we have a lot of confidence about this. I'm going to talk about the meeting for the director, general manager, and Florida at that moment. We'll give you a bit more update about what's going on over there. And, of course, the Montreal Canadiens, what's going happening tonight for us. So that's what we have on the program tonight, Mr. Natap. But first of all, we have to welcome everybody. And we're not to welcome the number 1 fans of the Buffalo Sabres inside of this warm-up show. Mr. The Deal, the real deal is in the house, Mr. Natap.
Hey, Real, welcome aboard.
I want to correct Mr. Real Deal, because I like the people correct me, so I want to correct him. He said, when the Alex Stock is not play, it's not big deal. We all fine. But without him, they are 2-5-1. And he popped up yesterday, Mr. Tap. Doc got to go. Nothing wrong again, Real Deal. I just mentioned Alex Stock play a big role on this team. And we know he was straight against Jack Eichel. Want this happening. Really good asset for the Vegas Golden Knights. I think they never find a guy like him since he got traded from the Vegas Golden Knights to the Buffalo Sabres. So
I had to take him off my injury reserve to put him in the fantasy pool. I get him back in there. It's going to be a big help, I think.
That's helping. He's going to helping you for sure for the rest of the season. Mr. Vinny is in the house, Mr. Attack.
Hey, Vinny. Welcome.
The Captain Kirk. It all is alliance with him for tonight. Yamo Vartanen, Mr. Natap, back in the house. Yamo, welcome back from Finland, Mr. Natap.
Moi, Yarmo.
From Texas, everything is big, Mr. Natap. Everything is good with the Devils, Mr. Natap. 3 game for Vegas, again for New Jersey Devils, again the Tampa Bay Lightning in front of them this week. Very interesting. Going to talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning, guys, the next couple of minutes. I have a couple of stats about them. It'll be shocking, Mr. Natap, where we have to be worried.
You think?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
William McClary is in the house, Mr. Natap, with his snowmobile hiding behind the tree.
Welcome, William.
And what about Mr. Steve G is in the house? Welcome back, Steve G. Thanks so much for your kind words.
How's it going, Steve?
And buenas noches, Mr. Leonardo Ramirez is in the house.
Salute, Leonardo. Welcome.
I could be wrong, but I believe he is in Vegas, Mr. Natap. I could be wrong about that. What about, yes, Jimmy Buffett? Us, we have Jimmy Beam, Mr. Natap, in the house.
Hey, Jimmy.
Sometimes, Mr. Natap, you have Kirk McLean, Vancouver Canucks goalie. Sometimes you have the Formula 1 McLean. Us, we have our Alex McLean is in the house, Mr. Natap.
Welcome, Alex.
And our friend, Mr. Natap, Ran Earlier, is in the house. Welcome back, Ran. Thanks to be with the Hockey Nation Live show. Always a pleasure. Open the door for you. You're absolutely right about Ryan. This, William, about Alex Stock. Here we go, Leonardo. I was right, Mr. Natap. Hopefully, the Knights will win today against Philly. This is a game they cannot drop, Mr. Natap. They have a really good run the last 10 games, 7-1, I believe. But you're absolutely right. They have to win that W to stay in the top of the first place in the Pacific Division, Mr. Natap. And we cannot go nowhere, Mr. Natap, without the RJ Calabro is in the house.
Hey, Mr. Calabro, welcome. Yes, go Canada, go.
Canada won 5-0 against Colombia, Mr. Top, in baseball.
Yes, looking good.
Colombia have baseball team
Except,
over there?
yes, they do, Coach.
Oh.
Are you trying to minimize our victory now? It was a good
No, but
victory.
I was just curious to see. I only know Colombia on two different ways, but soccer, you know what I mean? Soccer at the
Don't
beach.
go there.
But that's another story for
Yes, the
another time,
beach.
Mr. Top. Congratulations for Canada who won yesterday after they got beat yesterday by Team USA. Um, um, I don't the but every time I put Matt Murray on goal, I get point. Here we go. Luciano got plus point by the injury now, 3 4 6 week. I believe the Knights will get this done. Our ranking. Then I'm the Leaf fan, and we are enemy. But coach is the man. Thanks so much, Ryan. The Leaf dropped a game yesterday, Mr. Tap, talking about Ryan. So maybe we can consist with his conversation. Always a pleasure, Mr. Ryan. Very kind of you to say that. So, Mr. Natap, I want to get there. What caught your attention last night? I have only 3 games on the program. Buffalo beat the Toronto Maple Leafs yesterday, 4-3. Colorado destroyed at least half of the first game, 8-4. And finally, Dallas beat the Seattle Kraken. More easier at what I thought. I think it's 5-2, but I could be wrong.
5-2 was the final. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, well, maybe we'll start off with that. I think we're starting to see Dallas a little bit more of a resurgence in Dallas because they went through a period of time when they looked very inconsistent, and that did not pair well with what we were seeing earlier on in the year. Remember, we were making remarks about how much more efficient and consistent the Stars were this year than previous years, and it seems like they've kind of found their way back. And I think you got to give a lot of credit to some of the veterans on that team. Yes, their stars are doing well, like Robertson and Hintz and Pavelski. But the veterans like Pavelski has woken up. Heiskanen yesterday had 3 assists, very good game. Jamie Benn is really coming on lately. He had 3 points as well last night. And who else is helping him right now? Evgeny Dadanov. Good pickup. We thought maybe that wasn't a good pickup, but he seems to be fitting in. Maybe he's in the right chair with the right
He played with the
line
rookie
mates.
Wyatt Johnson is on top.
Yeah,
They look
and
like
he's
that line
very
doing well. What a goal! He averaged
yeah
a
he's
goal.
very responsible defensively, and so that could cover up a lot of his defensive deficiencies. So. Like I said, sometimes you're put in the right atmosphere with the right people, and you excel. So, good on him. I think Guryanov is doing relatively okay with us. I mean, he's getting the points, but you definitely see where the areas of concern are with Guryanov. And speaking of Guryanov and the Montreal Canadiens, we did not see a good game yesterday. Unfortunately, we saw a very motivated and high flying Colorado team that really took it to Montreal. Got 4 goals in the first period. I wouldn't blame Allen, even though he didn't have one of his greatest games. I wouldn't blame him because I thought that they just outskated us. They out hustled us. You had on the eve of Lekkonen's return to Montreal, he picked up 3 points himself. Unfortunately, he could have had the hat trick maybe if he played the whole game, but unfortunately, he got hurt. I think he broke a finger and needs to get it operated on. And I hope for Colorado's sake they get him back for the playoffs. That's what the word is. Otherwise, they're going to miss, as we all know, a very dynamic player that always shows up every single shift, not just every single game. Nikushkin yesterday also had 3 points, and the magic of Makar, McKinnon, and even Tays yesterday, like they all had multiple points. So impressive win by Colorado. Montreal did get a couple goals later in the third to kind of narrow the margin a little bit. But
So do you know, Mr.
that's
Tab, the words and we use in hockey, score effect.
yeah,
So do you know
I think so.
what it is, score effect?
It just means that the points don't really reflect what the team
Yeah, so score effect is,
showed.
guys, is when the team take some kind of the lead. It could be 4 goal, 5 goal, you know what I mean, at some points on the game, and then they just release their foot on the pedal. They just, they're hanging there. They don't want to go for
Yeah,
7, 8, 9, 10, 12. You know what I mean? They just change the tempo of the game. They don't want to go more, like try to prove more, right? So that's happening yesterday. The first 24 minutes of the game, 6-1 Colorado. The last 36 minutes of the game, 3-2 Montreal Canadiens. And that's called, for me, a
that's right.
score effect. That's not saying Montreal uh, play better to Colorado. It's just Colorado just start to play at the same level. They just
Yeah,
relax a little bit more. And they knew that was over at 6-1, so they don't want to go too much deep. They keep their energy, everything like that. So that's called a score effect about that. The only thing I would say about Montreal, this is, if you go deep on the game, you're watching, okay, what happening last night? But for me, for Montreal, this is a rare, you see a team play 4 high. So when you said 4 high, what is
hmm
happening? So usually you bring three, a forward between both defensemen or a forward beside the both defensemen. So you try to attract the man-to-man changing for opponent team, like again for Montreal Canadiens. So you try to create some kind of cow and the defensive zone, so they lose their man, and then they create a +1. That's what you try to do on an offensive zone. As a coach, you try to always create a +1, and that's what happening yesterday. But the problem on 12 for the first time, it was 4 and sometimes 5 high. So what they're going now, they when you go high, when I said high, is go close the blue line. So you attract another forward with you up, and that create KO around and because Colorado is their speed is maybe one of the best in the NHL. Bring 4 high, you have to bring another maybe a defenseman high that create those
that's
kind of
right.
space, and they took advantage of with their speed to go in
Speed.
and get those passes right there. So this is where Martin St. Louis struggled last night as a team to readjust themselves about that one. It took take time, and then you can see a better uh, effect and the defensive zone coverage after after the 2 period, and where they readjust themselves. And but they never gave up. They tried to compete, and again, Georgia, they have an amazing, great game overall. But I just want to give you another aspect of what I see for why the reason they
hmm
lose. Of course, yeah, flat the first period, it was not there. I can go all the way like that, right? But I just want to give you one of the reasons where the details where the Colorado was really good against Montreal, and when Montreal struggled yesterday, it was that area on my eyes.
Yeah, you're totally right. And that helps explain why they were outskated as well. That McKinnon goal was is surreal. Beautiful, beautiful goal, and he just at will went right to the net, outskated the defense, went right around them, right to
Oh,
the net, and
Kovacevic
a
got
beautiful
beat on
goal.
that one. Kohli had a very difficult
Yeah,
time. Montreal at defenseman, they really see the first time. Never see a team like with their speed. Goalie got beat a couple of times
yeah,
last night, and very difficult
totally.
night for the and frustration for the defensive. David Savard broke his stick twice, and you can see some kind of frustration last night.
Yeah, and the other game, of course, was the tale of two teams in one game here. Toronto Maple Leafs and Buffalo. Toronto builds up that lead. Buffalo then comes back very strong, as we said earlier. Tuck, really brings that first line to life. He had 2 points yesterday. Good to see guys like Paterka and Power chipping in. They had a couple of points each yesterday. It it was just surreal to me how they turned that game around because I thought the Leafs totally dominated in that first period, maybe even the first half of the game, and then Buffalo just came at them in waves and waves, and they kind of exploited the defense a little bit, and you can't really blame Murray too much because they were all very good goals that they scored at the right place at the right time on the deflection as well. Um, you know, I think it's unfortunate that Buffalo's where they are, like they're in the standings, because this is a team with their offense. They can match just about anybody. It's defensively and in net that they sometimes have to worry about. But good for them. And Toronto still, I mean, has question marks in my eyes. We'll see if they can put it all together just before the playoffs. This up and down where they play one game like they're world beaters, and then the next game they're beat on a very consistent, basic parts of the game that they should have answers to, and they don't. Worries me going into the playoffs.
For me, it's always looking about those kind of team like that or a game like happening yesterday. Okay, why we cannot close it, right? When it's 2-0, this is the most important moment in the game for me. How we can get the next goal, and that's done deal after that, right? When it's become
Yeah.
3-0 or 2-1, that's a completely the changing of momentum. So if Toronto could get that third goal, that would be changing. So how we can finishing those game, won't get the lead 2-0 or 3-0 in the game, and that's unfortunately did not happen yesterday. Mr. Natap. RJ Calabro and Willie Snyder in the house, Mr. Natap.
Welcome, Wooly. Yeah, and even Keith mentioned that in his press conference afterwards. Exactly what you said. You know, your team of our type, where we have high expectations. We're playing at home. You have a 2-0 lead. You got to learn to put those games away.
Exactly about that one. The start of the night, not the start of the week, but start of the night or the day. Lekanen 3 point, 2 goal, 1 assist, 2 goal from Alex Talk. Talk has 2 goal yesterday, goal winning game. What a great performance, Alex. The goal he did over the shoulder of the Murray
Mm.
was a beauty for sure. And Mekar 3 assists with Eskinen. I could add the same thing about that, Mr. Natap. So congratulations for all the 3 star of the night. We have Mr. William said the leave count, they lose, they away. They play at the end of the stick, a straight leg in the third period. Jimmy, when do you the AB play next? They play tonight against Pittsburgh
Tonight.
Penguins. Jimmy, that's a great question at the right time, my friend, because that was the next subject, Mr. Tap. The preview game of Montreal Canadiens tonight. And before that, I want to tell everybody, first of all, if you follow me or follow the channel, I want to mention this to you. My video at Daily News, Mr. Attack, was about Josh Anderson trade or not for my video. And the reason behind that, right? And I'll make a subject and that's it. Yeah, I talk about the leader he bring on the table, but I compare him with Lekanen. And when I put him against Lekanen, it's not like they are physical. I'm talking about the similarity where both of them compete when the season is not matter anymore. And that's what I've tried to show the beauty of what Anderson doing right now with Montreal Canadiens, and maybe the time at the off season to open up possible to trade Josh Anderson, because he's not going to be one of Montreal be at the right time compete where he's going to be at 32 years old or 31 years old and carry on a 5.5. So this is the point behind this short video. I talk about this. And then yesterday I create a short video, guys. You have a chance to watching the collision between McDavid and Matthews happening Saturday night. It's a short video, 2 minutes, and I think it's really funny to watching this. You can watch this on the channel. We produce video every single day for everybody. But let's talking about the Montreal Canadiens tonight against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Montembeault between the pipe. I asked people asking me who he would be. I was expect Montembeault, and that's what happened. Not because I'm smart, it's just because I think that's the right things to do. And because the Montreal play 4 games this week, very difficult. You know what I mean? Like 3 games and 4 nights, so they want to keep everybody fresh.
Yeah.
So that would just make sense to me. Barron back in the lineup tonight. G-Bay. That's good news. The big test, and that's what I talk about that video with Josh Anderson, the character of Montreal Canadiens, because tonight they are back to back. And this is the first time they got lost really badly yesterday. And that will be how they're going to respond tonight. How they're going to act again. The Pittsburgh Penguins, right now they try to survive the wild card. They won the seven the last 9 games for Pittsburgh Penguins. Everything looking great in Pittsburgh. And I want to see how the Montreal going to do tonight. It's all about a mental game. They are not physical. It's not about a physical game tonight. It's about really how they're going to play, bounce back as a team together. And I think for me, the first period is maybe the biggest period of the year because we not a team in our last 7 game right now for Montreal, and you still have 15 game after that, and the match are
Hmm.
not easy. So I don't want a team fall down because of those situations right there. And unfortunately, I feel like sometimes Martin Saint Louis protect, and I understand as a coach what he said on the mic, in front of the mic, and what he said in the locker room many times is different. I know that, been there, I know how this works. But when he said yesterday, no, we played good hockey, I disagree with him when he said that. We did not play good hockey last night, right? Sometimes he want too much to make this, the positive of that situation over there. Last week, during the weekend, someone asked him, what are you missing? He said, no, we don't miss anything. But I disagree with him because you miss like experience, you miss veterans, you miss talent, you miss skill. You know what I mean? So those kind of stuff like that sometimes is difficult to find. Not again, Martin Saint Louis. I'll just give you some time. Martin Saint Louis protect his player and the team. So for me tonight, it's very important the character. That's what I talk about on my video. The character of Montreal Canadiens tonight. How you going to respond and how going to ready for that one. I don't want to fall in the on the straight or where they are, it's not matter anymore. It's not a big deal, right? You have two big things to learning to keep consistent the culture, their standard, and their intensity of who they are as a team together. So be that's what I'm looking for the game against Pittsburgh Penguins. It's not about the score. It's how they're going to react, how they're going to bounce back, and we cannot fall apart of not follow still only in the moral game. So it'd be good if Montreal can get a W for the next 2-3 games because right now after 7 games. This is different Mr. ENORTAP right now compared to 7 last they got in December. First of all, statistically, they cannot compare, and how they play together right there compared to December is completely different too. So they have a couple of good things. But last night, this is really what is a tough one to watch, is a tough one to react, is a tough one now to bounce back. And that's what I'm talking about character. From the bench, from the staff, and from the players. So I don't know if you want to add one more thing. I apologize a bit longer for what I tried to explain. But
No, you bring up a good point in that you've spent the whole year trying to build, that character, that brand within the team that you don't want to see the losing streak go too far in depth. Um, but I think also, I think the players realize that too. They know that they're capable of competing on a nightly basis, and they have been. So, like I said yesterday, I said, yeah, yesterday was a 6 game losing streak. Now, today it's a 7 game losing streak. But with the exception of yesterday, it really doesn't feel like it because they've played some good hockey in losing. They've come from behind. They've pushed teams to overtime. Yeah, it's not good to lose. I get that, but at least they know that we can play with these guys. And you have to also keep in mind that they do have 11 players out of the regular lineup that could make a huge difference. Um, down the road. So, yeah, I think we definitely need uh, to show up on the score sheet. But at this stage, you got nothing. You got nothing really to gain by winning a lot of games at this stage.
yeah, I'm
You
sorry
know what I'm
about that.
saying?
Great comment about that for sure.
Yeah,
Uh, until we said to you, sometime Allen and Montalvo hide the reality of the team. And when I said that,
yeah,
they make a couple of saves to keep the Montreal in the game, but not good enough to win the W, right? Uh, and
exactly.
that's what shows sometimes. Oh, it's a moral game, but honestly, without Allen, maybe we don't, maybe 5-2 and not 4-3.
You're right. Yeah.
So that's one thing with that. Oh, we know we have to rock and roll, guys. 5-3, 5:28. I just want to give you a couple of news, Mr. Nata, very quickly. NHL news, the GM meeting. They have a couple of rules they want to check. One of the rules about the high stick. They're not going to happen this year, maybe next year, where they said, okay, about ice sick on the ice, the coach can challenge this if he want to. That will be maybe another rule is coming about that one there. And then they have another rule about 2 minutes for ice stick or something else. Jeez, I forgot about that
Oh,
one.
the was it about the instigator?
No,
The instigator pen? No.
no, a delay game. So the puck go
Oh,
out
okay.
of the play, and usually it cannot be reviewed. Now they try to looking about that. Usually the four officials meet together and they talk and they decide. So that's a 2 point. They try to look about that. For that, nothing else. Everything will be out more tomorrow. They have couple of things about the fight, everything subject around with a small group of 8 GM together around the table. And then tomorrow the commissioner is going to talk. So we have a little bit more news. I want to share it with you what's going on around, but nothing major at that moment at the GM at this happening in Florida. Big news from Carolina. For me, Chevnikov is out, possible for the rest of the year. This is a
It
really
is.
blow for the Carolina. As a contender, as a Stanley Cup, you have to put them now a pretender of the Stanley Cup. I don't see how they can recover. They're already missing offensive side, so this is not a great news for the Carolina. And then the Carolina lost Lekonen for 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, but it is a really important. He play a role, a specific role, a very important role for the team, and I don't think so. They have one like him, like a
No,
200 way play center. You know, you can maybe talk
absolutely.
Cogliano, but he's not offensive like this. So it's really difficult again. Calado been hurt all year long. It's just continuous unfortunately in that way. Again, this is only a slap shot where puck he touched his finger, it broken. This is just very sad to hear that, Mr. Natap. But would be interesting. So that we have Stu Pirazzo in the house, Mr. Natap, with Run with King, sir.
Welcome, Stu.
Um, at the end of the day, Mr. On Top,
The
we have a people in the bus. So I don't want to mention anybody. I'm with everybody in the bus tonight, Mr. On Top. Let's bring them everything there. Very, really generous for you to give everybody in the bus a 2-1, Mr. On Top. I was
a lot of
surprised
two
to
and
see
ones
that.
yesterday, and nobody
Run
went
with
to
Kings,
jail.
20
That's
in
the
the house,
important
by
thing.
the way, Mr. On Top. Welcome back, Mr. Run. Thanks so much for all the light we got
Hey,
so far.
Ron.
And I don't. I'm sorry if I cut you again. Try to give you
That's okay.
30 minutes at least for 12 games to talk about. So I want to be fair
Yeah,
with
let's do
flying
it.
time. And the first game of the night, I went out to Saudi with the Montreal Canadiens versus Pittsburgh,
Why not?
26-35-6 and 34-22-10 for the Pittsburgh Mission Attack. And that's happening.
Yeah, and we got two Eastern Conference teams that are meeting here tonight. The Habs are taking on the Penguins in Pittsburgh. As Coach mentioned, Monty is starting, and it looks like Jari is starting for Pittsburgh. Crosby faces his childhood favorite team in the Montreal Canadiens, and this is the third time this year. And really, the Canadians have fared fairly well with the against the Penguins. Montreal owns the season series with a 2-0 record so far, so you can rest assured that the Penguins will look to earn at least this win here, not just because of the series with Montreal, but because it has such a large magnitude of importance in terms of whether they'll make the playoffs or not. At this stage, they can't afford to lose to a team that is a bottom dweller, and it's those kind of games that if you don't make the playoffs afterwards, you reflect upon and you say, that's where we blew it. The Canadians are coming off of that, 8-4 loss at the hands of the Avalanche, and I don't think things will get a heck of a lot better. I just hope that it's and I think it will be much more of a game here. Nothing like last night, but they really have to come out flying, as you said, especially in that first period. The worry here is that it's a tired team on a back to back. They had to travel to Pittsburgh, even though it's not really that far, but it disrupts your schedule. So I I think Pittsburgh will win this game, but I think it'll be very close. I'm going to go with a score of 4-3.
4-3, Monsieur Notap. 5
Yeah,
5-2. 5-2 for Pittsburgh, Monsieur Notap.
5-2. Okay.
The game of the night, one of them, Monsieur Notap. Tampa Bay Lightning versus New Jersey Devils, Monsieur Notap.
Yeah, this is going to be definitely the game of the night, or one of the two. They meet tonight in what should be a thrilling matchup between these two very strong teams. The problem is, of course, Tampa Bay's trending one direction, and New Jersey's trending in an upward direction right now. The Devils come into this game as winners of three straight, picking up quality wins over teams like Carolina and Washington. Tampa provides, another tough task for them because obviously Tampa is who they are, and until they're knocked off their perch, they're still one of the best teams in the league right now. It'll be interesting how this game unfolds. The Devils have been one of the best teams in hockey pretty much all season this year, and they improved their lineup when they picked up Timo Meier from the Sharks. Trade deadline time, they rank top 10 in both expected goals for and expected goals against. So though they're solid on both ends of the ice, and and they've been getting very good goaltending as well. You got to give it to Vanacek, who's been really holding his own and keeping the team going here. Um, Tonight, I think we're looking at Vasilevsky and Vanacek anyway, so it's going to be a big game here. The Devils are, I think, a more balanced team at this stage, even though the more experienced team is Tampa Bay, and they know how to win. I like what I'm seeing out of Jersey, and who knows how far they can go in the playoffs. I know they lack that experience, but we'll see how it goes. Tampa Bay, though, is 8-2 in the last 10 times that they've played New Jersey. So that's kind of what swayed me. I think this could be an overtime game, but I'm looking for Tampa Bay to break the streak, the losing streak. So I'll take them to win by a score of 3-2.
3-2 Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
All right. I go with New Jersey 4-3 for me. Tampa Bay is 775 guys since February 1st. They are Vasilevsky 3.43. Save percentage of 898. And that's the reason I'm really worried about the Tampa Bay Lightning right now.
Fair enough, but like I said, we'll see tonight if they can respond. I mean, this is the kind of game that I think they've been confronted about 3 or 4 times this year by stronger teams, and they've sent messages every time to say, "Okay, Boston, your streak ends tonight. Okay, Colorado, you're not coming here and beating us in our home." So they've come up with some impressive wins, and that's also kind of one of the reasons I thought go with them. But I really like New Jersey. You're right. Next, we have, who do we have? Vegas and Philadelphia. Okay, so um, after a Monday off for both teams, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Flyers, they returned to action for a matchup in the city of brotherly love. These teams have played just once so far this year, and it was back in December. It is a much closer game than people expected. The Flyers actually won that game by a margin of 2-1, and it was in overtime. But I don't think that the Flyers will get as lucky this time around. These teams know where they stand in the league, and they're nowhere near each other at this stage. Vegas has obviously Stanley Cup aspirations, while Philadelphia is hoping to win the lottery, the draft lottery. So opposite ends of the spectrum. Um, they're they're far away in all aspects of the game as well. So there really is no reason that you would suspect Vegas to lose this game. Um, do not. I don't think. Don't overthink this game. I think Vegas will win this. I'm going to take them to win by a margin of 5-2.
Got it, Mr. ENORTAP. I guess Golden Knight 5-2. It makes sense to me. I would go with the same score.
Okay, beautiful. And next, we are looking at, yes, the Washington Capitals and the Rangers. Could be a dandy of a game here. The Rangers, they really own a sizable cushion for third place right now in the Metro. But if you don't, if they don't shake this the inconsistent level of play lately, that margin could shrink, and it could shrink fast. So they have to find a way out of this. Meanwhile, the Capitals are trying to claw their way back into contention for one of the final wild card spots left in the East. These two division foes battle for the third time this season. Washington won the previous two games, and they weren't even close. They were by a margin of 4-0 and 6-3. The last win over the Rangers actually started a 4-2-1 stretch that has really seen the Capitals score a total of 30 goals, which is very fascinating for a Washington team that doesn't have a lot of offensive pieces. During the Rangers' run of uneven performances, the Rangers played 3 home games, and then they lost to Winnipeg and Ottawa, and now they return home to play 6 of the next 8 games at home after going 2-0-1 on the road through Montreal, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh, I believe it was, that they've played. The Rangers ended the trip with a 3-2 loss in Pittsburgh. Sunday's loss occurred after the Rangers got 32 saves from Shesterkin and a power play goal from Panarin as well in overtime at Buffalo the day earlier. So I like the Rangers in this one to kind of send a message and also maybe burst the bubble once and for all for Washington, and they'll be out. So I'll take the Rangers by a margin of 5-2.
5-2, Mr. ENORTAP. You got it. I go with New York Rangers, Mr. ENORTAP. 4-2 tonight. Again, the
Okay.
Capitals, Washington. They're going to play without Ovechkin. Ovechkin maybe is a game decision at this moment. Possibly be out for the game tonight.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to remind everybody, guys, that when they trade Rangers, Martin Saint Louis, he scored the first time after 13 games, and he finished the season with 19 games with only 1 goal. That year, the Rangers made the final.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, who do we have? We got Winnipeg and Carolina. The Jets are traveling to Carolina to take on the Hurricanes, and this is, I believe, the second time they're playing this season. Uh, Carolina has really struggled in the last 3 games, scoring a total of, you got it, 1 goal in those 3 games. And record wise, they've gone 1-2. The Jets are still in the hunt for a playoff spot, even though they came down quite a bit from where they were at. I like the fact that they had a response in the last 2 games against a couple of tough opponents. You got to give them credit. They went to Florida, and it's not easy in the last 2 or 3 years to go to the state of Florida and come out of with wins against both Florida and Tampa Bay. And it helped them to at least, be in a good position. Right now, as we said earlier, Carolina received another blow in that Svechnikov is expected to miss a significant amount of time due to the injury. And it looks like it could be season ending as well, which would really take yet another offensive piece out of the puzzle to go along with Pacioretty, who's gone for the year. And what it does that's even more concerning is the fact that it really messes up that line that was doing really well, and we were starting to see some actual production out of guys like Kokaniemi because they were playing together for a while. So we'll see what happens. Uh, Frederick Anderson has actually been very good as he usually is in the regular season, and this could be an interesting goaltender matchup. I anticipate this to be an under, but I kind of anticipated where coach might go with this, and I had to go the opposite just to try to catch up. So I'm going to take Winnipeg to win this one, 3-2.
3-2, Mr. Tap. All right. I'll go with Carolina, 3-2, Mr. Tap.
Oh, I know you would go there. That's why I had to go.
We want to welcome back Rick Bengal is in the house. Welcome back.
Welcome,
Thanks to be
Rick.
with our Canadian show. We have Danny T knocked the door, Mr. Natat. We welcome back at Danny T. And we missed one. Pierre Martin is in the house. All three welcome. In the
Nashville and Detroit. Detroit actually is traveling to Nashville to take on the Predators in a East-West clash. The pair of playoff hopefuls are headed in different directions right now. The Red Wings have lost 7 of their past 10 games. They've allowed 36 goals during that stretch. On the other end, the Predators have won 7 of their last 10, and they've actually filled the gaps nicely after they lost a few players due to the trade deadline. But I don't know how sustainable that is for Nashville. I think at some point this could be one of those games, but at some point they'll significantly fall off and won't be significant in this race at all. I'm going to take I think it'll be a very low scoring game. You got 2 excellent goalies in Husso and Saros facing off. So I'm going to take Nashville to win this game at home. But I'm going with a score of 2-1.
2-1, Mr. Natat.
2-1, yeah.
I go with Nashville 4-3, Mr. Natat. Tonight we welcome back Jake McEnwee and Ellen Keeve. Welcome back, both of you.
Welcome, guys and ladies. And next we have Boston and Chicago. What can we say here? This is as lopsided as it gets in my eyes. The Bruins are on pace to be one of the best teams in the history of the NHL regular season in terms of their point production. The Blackhawks have been at or near the cellar of the league since day one of this year. We know why, because they're in a total rebuild mode. Both teams have held true to that so far this year. Boston won 10 straight games out of the All-Star break and currently are 11-2 currently in their last 13 games that they've played, and they've also have won 7 of their last 8 games on the road. I don't see really Chicago presenting much of a challenge here. At this stage, Chicago's been struggling quite a bit. They've lost 7 out of their last 8. They've allowed multiple goals. I think out of those 8, 5 games have been over 4 goals in each one. And I don't think this will be different tonight. I'm going to take the Boston Bruins to win this one by a score of 6-0.
That's almost like try to kill Nick.
Yes, kind of.
5-1, Mr. Natat.
5-1. Close enough. There you go. 6 goals in total.
Brandon Carlo is out for the Boston. Connor Murphy back in the lineup for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go, the
And
game of the night.
next, Ottawa and Edmonton. It'll be a good matchup in many regards, but you know what? I believe it's Sogart against Skinner. The Senators they end their 5-game road trip tonight in Edmonton after that 5-1 loss to the Flames on Sunday night. They did not look good in doing that. They're currently 6th in the Atlantic. They've suffered a couple losses that unfortunately set them behind the 8 ball a little bit in terms of trying to get that playoff spot. They're 6 points back right now. And they're going to really need to string together some victories and fast and keep it very consistent if they have any aspirations of getting to that playoff spot. The Oilers, they finish off their 4-game road trip to after that 7-4 loss against the Maple Leafs and on Saturday, and they really didn't look good in that game, which was the total opposite of when they first met the first time when they looked absolutely fantastic and very quick on the ice. Currently, they're 4th in the Pacific. Seattle last night lost, so this gives Edmonton the opportunity to jump ahead by 1 point if they can come up with the victory. And I think they will. I'm going to take the Oilers by a margin of 5-2.
5-2, Mr. ENORTAP. Awesome. Confirm. 5-3 for me. Welcome back, Marco Larabé, co-host of the AB Branch Youth on the Rendezvous.
Hey,
welcome
welcome,
aboard.
Marco.
Thanks, Marco.
And Stu is here too. Welcome, Stu. Well, yeah, Calgary and Arizona. It's in Arizona. That's the first point of notice here because Arizona actually has played some very good hockey at home, and they've stolen some points when you would expect they wouldn't. But you got to give credit to a team that's hasn't given up all year, and Vejmelka has playing well, especially at home. The Flames, they got to get their act together here if they want to get into the playoffs. I already think it's a little bit late for them, but tonight presents an interesting situation. I think they should be able to win this. They've won 7 straight games against Arizona, with 5 of them coming by multiple goals. And this also includes a 9-1 decision earlier on in the year. Calgary's 8-2 the last 10 games that they've played Arizona. So I'm going to take the Flames to win this one by a margin of 5-3.
5-2.
5-3.
There you go. Got it, Mr. ENORTAP. I still believe Calgary 4-2.
4-2. Okay.
Yep. And if we lose at this position, I'm going to be happy.
For sure.
Yep.
Oh, Dallas and Vancouver. Well, both these teams have been playing very good hockey as of late. But in a game between two teams in good form, the more reliable team to bet on, and the team that is deeper and better in my eyes is obviously Dallas. They've proven to be like that all year long. They've, like I said, with the exception of a stretch of time when they were losing some very winnable games, they've actually been very consistent, and that hasn't held form in past years with this team. So I like that. I like the fact that some of their veterans have really woken up and contributed to the scoring for Dallas. Dallas is top 9 in both goals scored and allowed per game, as well as in other areas, metrics such as faceoffs that they win, their power play, their penalty kill, their special teams have really come along nicely. They have the advantage over the Canucks in each of these statistical categories. They're currently tied for second in the Western Conference thanks to their consistency, and they've those are factors that the Canucks just don't have. Despite actually owning Dallas in the last 10 matchups that they've played, and they've beaten them 7 out of the 10 times. But I don't think that that's going to surface its head tonight. I think Dallas wins this, but I think it'll be a closer game than we imagine. I'm going to take Dallas by a margin of 3-2.
3 to Mr. Tap, 4-3 for me.
Dallas 4-3.
Yep. TABERNAK is on fire.
And
there we go.
got
I give it that game, Mr. Tap.
Columbus.
Just tell me which one I want to take. I follow you on
Okay. Oh, this one's a tough one to predict, right?
That's my point.
They're fighting for last here.
I only listen, God, you are the God about that game.
Oh, I don't know. They, the only thing I like is the fact that number one, San Jose is at home, and their home record hasn't been actually too bad lately, and they've been scoring some goals as of late. They've strung together, some good games, but they rank dead last in goals against with 257, and Columbus, you can make the argument that maybe they have a couple players that are better, but I don't know. When you look at guys like Gaudreau this year, his production just has gone south, like 57 points in 63 games. But more important, like that's not horrible, but it's nowhere near what he did with Calgary. But the worst part is that he leads the team in plus minus at minus 27. So I don't like that. I think San Jose will come out strong here, and they're going to take this game at home by a margin of 3-1.
3-1 San Jose, Mr. Tap. That's good news for Montreal Canadiens. On that one there. San Jose, Mr. Tap, 4-3 for me. And Michael Hutchinson, Mr. Tap, is a goaltender for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't know. Look like Hutchinson, guys. He's doing a tour to when he's going to complete his career, but it's a one team per year. So you take him about 32 years to finishing that, Mr. Tap. But he's still hanging there with that Columbus. So be interested next year what tour is going to make, Mr. Tap. Sorry about that, but that's the last game we got on the program, I believe.
Yeah, the Islanders and LA, which it's a matchup in which neither team is exactly prolific in scoring. But having said that, very strong defensively in terms of goal prevention. The Kings, they rank 11th in the NHL in scoring, but are neutralized or can be neutralized by the Islanders' 6th rank goal prevention. On the other side of the puck, however, LA is in the bottom half of the league in goal prevention, and they've been minimizing opponents' production lately. Recent performances, they look good for, I would say, the score to be an under rather than an over, which is set at 6, I believe, for today. So I think that pattern will hold true. LA has defeated the Islanders 3 straight times lately, and I suspect this might be an overtime game, but LA is at home, so I'm going to take the Kings to win it in overtime by a margin of 3-2, and the Islanders to come away with a crucial point.
Well, you're absolutely right about this, Mr. Tap. I have the same score.
3-2, yeah.
To finishing the show. That's pretty good about that one with Mr. Tap. So we did pretty good overall. You keep this very sweet inside the 2-minute mark. of the show. That's pretty good to do that, Mr. Antap. Great job, everybody. Thank you for all the like you got so far. Mr. Antap, I just want to give you a little bit more information about that. Some danger for the DG, and Director General Manager, and NHL, Mr. Antap. Toronto, Carl Dubas. Calgary, Tavelin. Pittsburgh, Ron Extall, and Ottawa, Pierre Dorion are 4 GM are going to be very interesting after Daniel Brière is a new GM. Some of them can lose their job, so there's something we're going to follow up for the next couple of weeks for that one for Mr. Antap. For definitely, that's something I want to mention to you. I just want to share with you what I said earlier. Tampa Bay guys sent February 1st, 7.75. Vasilevsky, 3.65 goal against average, and the save percentage of 897.
Don't doubt him. Don't doubt him, Coach.
If you are Toronto fans, Toronto Maple Leafs, I love this one. I love this one. I love that one.
Sure.
Come concern about the Tampa Bay Lightning. I would like to talk more about Daniel Brière, but it's over right now. We have already at the end of the show. We're going to talk about him tomorrow, about the Phillies. Expect Eric Lindros inside this organization, Mr. Antap. I would not be surprised. Eric Lindros is going to join the Philadelphia Flyers. We know Lindros is part of the NHL safety program, whatever you want to call it, Mr. Antap. But at the end of the show, Mr. Antap, we ask you one question. This is the biggest question you never faced for the night. What are you looking for tonight?
Big games. Islanders in LA is huge, has all sorts of implications. Winnipeg and Carolina for both teams, because New Jersey's right there with Carolina. And of course, Tampa Bay, can they respond? We'll see.
Great said that, Mr. Antap. Absolutely. But before we leave, we want to remind everybody. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness. You have greatness inside of you, Mr. Antap, like you do every single night. You bring this on the table. And we want to thank all the moderators, the Hockey Nation show to be with us tonight. We'll be back at 7:05 for the next game for the Montreal Canadiens. But we want to thank all the people in the chat to be always with us every night, Mr. Antap. We have a great group of the people. We want to thank each one of them. And of course, we're going to look forward to seeing you a bit next tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Until then, Mr. Antap, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first half of what?
Year 2023.
We missed the white Nissan, Mr. Antap, but one thing we did. You did it again. Have an amazing, great night, Mr. Antap.
Good night, Hockey Nation. Good night, Coach.